Parliamo di cinema, una tenera vipera, ad ogni genera che oggi è bigama, all'anima libera che non ha più fisima, la gente cinica, misera e anonima, chi vive a Panama ed è morta a Veneta. Parliamo di cinema e di ciò che ci va. John.
Nostalgia Broadcast.
Ciao, Nostalgia Podcast, siamo qui al Biography Festival a Bologna e siamo qui con un grande ospite e qui con noi Josh Oppenheimer che ci parlerà con cui parleremo del suo ultimo film The End.
Bene, ringraziamo Joshua di essere qua con noi. Thank you. I have a question for you, and it's in your life and in your two beautiful film that you make before this. You have explored the theme of violence, and in this movie, The End, instead, it seemed to me there is your desire to talk about the future and hope. For me, what has changed in the course of your life in these 10 years?
I think in a way, The End is really about the present. The film claims to be a post-apocalyptic musical and a warning about what happens if we continue down the present course that we're on in terms of the destruction of the climate and where we might end up. But actually, if we look at the word apocalypse, apocalypse means revelation. It means the unrevealing of a truth. And we are the first human beings on Earth for whom it has already been revealed how we will die, how we will go extinct. Science has told us that if we continue living on Earth as we are, consuming as we are, engrossed in our own bubbles of selfishness as we are, allowing, therefore, strife and war and the corrosion of democracy to spiral out of control so that a human civilization has no resilience as we face the crises of the future, we know that we will go extinct. So in that sense, we're living after the revelation, after the apocalypse. We are already post-apocalypse. So my post-apocalyptic musical isn't a vision of the future, it's an allegory for the present. And the real question that the film is asking is, knowing our mistakes, understanding what we're doing wrong, how can we get on the right course, and how shall we live? And what the film's really about there, I would say, just like The Act of Killing and The Look of Silence, my previous two films, is self-deception, the uniquely human ability to lie to ourselves, to make up and cling to excuses, to ease our regrets, and the terrible consequences of that. And if there's hope in the film, it lies in the fact that there's still time for us to change course, to acknowledge our mistakes, to reach out to those we love, ask forgiveness where necessary, reach beyond those we love to our friends, get together with friends, to do what in our hearts we know is necessary to address the climate crisis, to address the loneliness and sort of bunker mentality that isolates all of us in our own lives, and to begin living lives as full human beings.
Among the many themes that you talk about in your movie, I thought maybe the one that interested me the most is the meaning of art, and I would say the human need of art, of joy and beauty. The nature is always represented by pictures, and this is very interesting in my opinion. And that's why you chose the musical as a form of expression, because you wanted to express maybe this need of art and joy that's very human.
Yeah, that's a beautiful question and gets me thinking about the songs in a way that I've never quite thought about them before. But absolutely, I think there's a very ambiguous meaning of art, or double meaning of art in the film, just as there's a double meaning of the songs. So the songs there are songs of deep longing for what's been lost, for the world that's gone, for quality of experience. The girl who enters the bunker sings this beautiful song about time, where she's talking about what it was like to be truly present with those you love in a way that seems impossible in this very artificial world where she's arrived. Those songs of longing are also kind of in a way mirrored by these beautiful romantic paintings of landscapes on the walls, where you're seeing a lost nature that also never really existed, because it's a romantic idealization of nature. At the same time, the cliche about musicals, about Golden Age Hollywood musicals, is that characters sing their deepest truth. But in fact, the characters here are often singing in a kind of negative image of that, of in the inverse of that, out of moments of crisis where all the excuses and rationalizations that they've clung to so that they can live with what they've done, so they can live with the catastrophe from which they're fleeing, but for which they're also responsible, the climate catastrophe, so that they can live with their guilt for leaving their loved ones behind. As those rationalizations and excuses crumble and fall apart, in these moments of profound doubt and remorse, I suppose, they desperately reach for new music, either to make up new excuses through these beautiful melodies to justify what they've done, or to romanticize what they've done. And that's very much like in my earlier film, The Act of Killing, where Anwar Congo, the protagonist, finds different genres to dramatize his past and sort of cope with his horror. But it's in this case, the music is often these beautiful lies where they're desperately, through the act of singing, trying to convince themselves of lies, basically. And because Joshua Schmidt has written this remarkable counterpoint where dark, dissonant counterpoint leads them sort of like an undertow or like a whirlpool downwards into the abyss of truth, they suddenly find that as they're singing these lies, the lies are crumbling and they can't sing anymore. And then it's as if they hit a kind of wall of silence. And that's really in the silence where the truth often screams through. So it's kind of this inversion of the normal musical idea that they're singing the truth. Here they're singing lies often, and the truth is in the silence. And in that sense, there's something about the art on the walls too, where Walter Benjamin spoke of art. He said, speaking of art, said every artifact of civilization is at the same time an artifact of barbarism. That's true of the paintings that they've collected as trophies, that they've chosen to bring paintings instead of human beings. These are paintings that once meant something in the society where they were created, where they were painted, but now are meaningless and valueless because there's no society left to be in dialogue with them. There's nothing left for those, post-impressionist art offered a critique of traditional ways of seeing. There's no society to care about that anymore. So this sense that the paintings offer this kind of distraction, this illusion of windows in these windowless rooms where they can see to a lost nature for which they long, but also allows them to cope with the awful truth. And then there are these kind of lifeless trophies, status symbols, artifacts of barbarism, like the lies that the characters sometimes sing.
Since you said that this movie is not about, it is about right now, it's about present, what you see about the future, and what you see, what you think about the relationship between cinema, between world, between people, and how can cinema can dialogue to make it better, the hard world.
Well, I think that what I try to do in my cinema, to just start from what I know best, is to not offer a distraction or a diversion, but to hold up a kind of very truthful mirror to all of us that invites us specifically to together, collectively in the cinema hall, invites us to recognize in particular how we lie to ourselves, the many ways that we live with cognitive dissonance, the many ways when we hear about the impending collapse of the climate, we tell ourselves either, there's nothing I can do about it, or it's too late anyways, and luckily nature will regenerate and be beautiful, and it's kind of or somehow it'll all turn out for the best. These are all self-deceptions Was that you were?
No, for the best or for the worst.
Well, different. I think I was trying to identify different modes. It might.
Yeah.
Oh, it'll all. Everything will die, but the world or nature will regenerate without us, or everything will somehow will find a way out of this, or simple denial. It can't be true. It can't be as bad as the scientists say. But all of these we know. I think most people know are forms of self-deception, and if I can, through the mirror of the film, make the viewer recognize in themselves their own process of lying to themselves so that the next time they make one of those excuses, they think, oh, but that's like what the son said in the end. Or, oh, that's what the mother was doing in the end. I don't want to do that. So they realize through the moral warning of the film, through the cautionary tale of the film, that a well-lived life is lived honestly and in communion with the people you love and with the family with the human family that you depend on for your survival, and with the entire human species, and with the planet that nurtures us, and that only by being honest can we actually truly love. That if the film gives you pause in those moments where you identify with, oh, what I'm doing is just like that character in the end, then it's harder to do it again. And I think that opens a space for change.
Yes. Very good.
Bene, ringraziamo Josh Oppenheimer, il film è dal 3 luglio al cinema con I Wonder, ringraziamo lo staff del Biografilm e ci vediamo alla prossima puntata.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Ciao.
Ciao.
Thanks, guys.